In this video, I'm going to show how the farmer's walk fundamentals that I've discussed apply to real life case studies. So pickup looks good. Thing that you see straight away is the swinging backwards and forwards. You can see on this turn here, you can be, you want to get that back end a little bit. You want to get the farmers parallel. You can see one end's just slightly out. So you can see that it's just going to slow him down a little bit, and then they're overcompensating on the way back ever so slightly because that end starts out, so then it swings in further as we go along. So making sure that they get dropped down closer to parallel, so then they're closer to parallel on the way up. In terms of footwork, looks really good. I'd say try and keep the strides a little bit closer together like that, because you can see that Keoghan's legs, he's got big legs and there's not a massive gap for him to move into. So you can see every step slightly going out. So just drilling over the course of time, keeping the legs more parallel is going to help him preserve his grip for longer as he strides. This little thing here that you can see that the swing backwards and forwards, I think this is something that you can tidy up. Just have a play with different hand positions they should almost look like in my opinion, the farmers should almost be gliding across the floor, especially knowing Keoghan and knowing that the kind of weights that he lifts at competitions, he's always going to be taxing for his grip. So we want to make sure that we're preserving the grip as much as possible throughout the lift. Yeah, minimizing that forwards and backwards by playing around with different hand positions. Personally, I find that having my hand a little bit further forward can help keep parallel. But yeah, have a play with that and just continue to think about moving in that small gap by allowing your feet to pass each other really closely. You can see that on some steps he's stepping out to the side quite a lot. A subtle little thing what he could do that is going to create more space here is, I think about sometimes when I'm doing farmers, right? If you just let your arms droop by the sides, they're gonna get caught here. Whereas sometimes what I'd like to do is I'll flare my lats out a little bit rather than letting my arms sink back down by the side. I'll flare my lats a little bit, and then it'll create my hands when my lats are flared are out here, and it's creating more of a space rather than just letting your arms be here. So that's something to play with. Flare those lats. So we've got a similar thing going on here with the lateral sway. Let's have a look at the start. Looks pretty good. And it seems that as he's going, just look at his feet. If his feet are inconsistent compared to the other guy, and obviously what the other guy's doing really well is he's moving with his feet really close together, and his feet pass really, really closely. Whereas Kwansik here, his feet are going out to the side here. So I think what's going to really help him with his moving events is learning how to. You can see what's happening here is his whole torso is swaying from side to side. So doing like some of the drills where you're learning, even some of the speed work drills that I've posted before, like just doing footwork and learning how to flex the hip and move the hips independently of the torso, and basically keep this torso angle vertical to the floor and move the hips freely. It looks like the hip range of motion in terms of flexion, in terms of bend, isn't great. It's moving to the side, and obviously this is exaggerated because it's heavy, but the grip looks solid. The grip doesn't look a problem for him. It looks locked in. The hand position looks good. But I think fixing that lateral side to side sway will be really beneficial. So you can see it's a different video, Kwansik, not at the comp. But you can see the lateral shift from side to side isn't quite as pronounced on this. So it might just be a weight thing, but I just find that just working a little bit lighter weights that's allowing you to practice this footwork where your feet can stay a little bit close together without the hips opening. Because I feel that might just be quite heavy for you. And in that case, just doing a block of lighter work where you're able to finish the set, however long this takes, but maybe like 15 to 20% faster, is just going to allow you to find that more efficient footwork. So just dropping the weight down a little bit while we accommodate for that, it will be really beneficial for you to learn this. So great. Again, we're seeing a similar thing here where it's shifting from side to side like that. So you can see that the feet are really good. So you can see the feet are really passing really close together. So the gap that is created with his upper body is moving really well within that gap. But you can see the giveaway here is this side to side shuffle. So not only is that going to slow you down and cost you less energy per stride, but in terms of grip preservation, when the grip's actually at taxing weight, this is going to smoke your grip and just be really, really inefficient, and you're going to have to pay for it really quickly. So in terms of fixing that lateral shuffle, similar thing of practicing basically, imagine you've got headlight coming out of your tummy and out of your sternum, and you're keeping these headlights above each other all the time. You're not letting them go from side to side. You're just keeping a perfectly straight line all the way through. So that can be a good drill. And just practicing even just doing some of the sprint drills that I've posted before in isolation as like a warm-up thing. You know, I like doing stuff like, say, stick behind the head and basically just practicing whilst not letting yourself sway from side to side. So doing that in isolation without weight, and then scaling the weight up on top, and you'll be able to identify, do you find that challenging when you don't have weight there? And if you do, that's going to be good, because it's probably just going to be a new, a motor control thing that you're going to be able to fix, and you fix it unloaded and then go back to adding the weights, and it's just going to be instantly better. Or you can do it perfectly without the weight straight away, but then it's when you add weight that this comes in, and then you can just basically pick ever so slightly lighter weights to nail, like basically scale the weights up as you go along, rather than going super heavy. Sorry. Yeah, whether it's like a motor control thing that you're going to fix with, say, just by practicing technique without even adding weight, and then it's going to fix itself when you go to adding the weights, or whether it's something that you need to scale up and it's like a load thing. You get to a certain weight and then you start swaying from side to side. But yeah, doing the sprint drills in isolation will be fantastic, and just basically learning how to move your hips and your lower body independently of the torso, and keeping your torso at like a constant angle from the floor. So Dan's looking pretty good here in terms of the lateral shift from side to side. The feet are looking brilliant, actually. Look how closely his feet are passing and his knees are passing. So therefore, in terms of grip preservation, this is really good, and the lateral sway side to side is decent. Let's have a look at the start. So you can see that there's a lot of energy wasted here, right? Granted, if he's going for speed work, then fine, that's great. You can be a little bit erratic, and that's going to speed you up and allow you to get to a faster start. Whereas if he's going to wait where the grip's taxing, I would say a little bit more control off the floor, and I would say start with a simple fix. It's going to make the pickup even more efficient from the start. Is just start with the plates touching. If I always start with the plates touching, and therefore it just eliminates that initial pick. And watch what you're fighting against to start off with. That initial pick is you're fighting against the weights coming in against each other. Whereas if they start touching, you've got nothing to resist. They're just going to be in the position that they want to be in. So that's just going to be an instant fix that's relevant for everybody. And if I can pick up with the weights always touching and there's enough space, then Dan certainly can. Split stance looking pretty good. See, split stance doesn't need to be not quite as wide, because you're seeing as you're getting going, the feet are staying really close together. So maybe a similar distance apart in the start position may be beneficial. But yeah, sorting out that shaking at the start, and then therefore you on the way back it's much better. So great work. Objectively, you've won the heat, so we don't want to criticize it for the sake of criticizing. But what's going to enable you to get to your next level, you put like 5 kilos on your 20-meter PB, is actually your grip strength and your grip positioning, your hand positioning looks really good in your upper body position. So a thing that we'll look to improve is the swinging backwards and forwards here, which is going to be improved by finding a different position on the handle and just almost like just calibrating your hands a little bit to tip ever so slightly forward or backwards, just to with the goal of keeping the farmers parallel to the floor, so they almost look like they're gliding along the floor. On the way back, it looks a little bit better, but on the way here, you can see forwards and backwards like that. Whereas we want to keep them more parallel. And another little thing that you can see that you can fix by not even doing stuff with the farmers, you can see like the literal lateral shuffle, like the arms are dropping from side to side a little bit there. So what we just need to focus on there is actually just learning how to practice moving the torso, that we should be able to keep perpendicular for the ground at all times, independently of the hip. So moving the hips independently of the torso. So you should be able to like flex the hips and reach out with that leg whilst maintaining this torso vertical to the ground. You can see from side to side, your hands are just dropping from side to side. So yeah, getting practiced at locking that torso in position and then moving your lower body around it will be really, really beneficial and great for the grip preservation and efficiency. So doing stuff like, say, the sprint drills where you're not even holding anyone, or you could do it with, like, say, light pair of dumbbells and just practicing, even just doing like high knees and stuff. You see here, I'm focusing on, like, if I don't think about it, I'm like twisting from side to side and then my hands are dropping. Whereas actually just learning how to do this and practicing that and then scaling it up to using the farmers is going to be really beneficial. So doing stuff, try some of that as you warm up next time before you actually go to the farmers war. Think about keeping your torso perpendicular to the floor all the way through and moving those hips independently of the torso, and it'll be a game changer. And don't be surprised if your farmers walks feel significantly stronger and easier. And even though you're not addressing your grip thing as the focus, and it's actually more of a grip preservation thing via improving moving mechanics and torso position, etc. Don't be surprised if this unlocks the next level of gains on your farmers. Well done.